don't be so stubborn and rigid and set in your own ways that you miss out on great opportunities. Be okay with your plans changing into a new direction, or like you divert off of that path because there was a lot of signs that told you, hey, go this way instead, or try this route. Do something different. We're changing, because that's God, higher power, whatever you want to say, redirecting you or just directing you to where you need to be. We don't know what that looks like, but we have to trust and stop second guessing everything. Oh, wow. Let me tell you guys something, okay? Are you uncomfortable with the change? Let me tell you, change is not easy. Oh, it feels so good to be comfortable. Like normalcy, the normal things that you're used to doing, or like, I don't know, just like, what am I trying to say? Normalcy, comfort, and I want to say normalcy, more so comfort. Comfort feels so good. But it's so limiting. If you want to stay in one spot for the rest of your life, continue being comfortable. If you don't want to grow and become the best version of yourself, continue being comfortable. Just continue sitting down on that couch, or staying in that job, or being with that toxic person, or waking up late when you know that if you woke up a few minutes earlier, or not minutes, if you woke up a few hours earlier, you will be able to get stuff done for yourself. Or when you come home from work, continue to just go straight to watching TV and going to sleep, and then restarting your life all over again. Instead of, when you get home from work, take an hour to yourself to relax and then work on your passion projects, or work on something that you want to do, or do something that makes you happy or betters yourself, and start your side hustle to maybe get you out of that job that you don't like. But no, continue, Jess. I'm talking to myself, because earlier this year, approximately 6 months ago, on May 7th, I started my business, which is my business. I don't know why I don't want to say the name yet, because it's like, well, maybe I've said it here. I'm not sure. But I started a business, and it was the start of me deciding that I wanted to go full force into like creating a business that connects like-minded women together who are spiritually based and who are into astrology, health and wellness, holistic health, healing, all of that. And I wanted us to have like a virtual women's circle that we met up with every like a couple times a month, and we would we would just connect and kind of talk about our journeys and intertwine astrology into that and and all that stuff. Okay. And I started it. And at the time I wasn't working. So I was freelancing. Okay. I took a risk to do this, but I was so confident in the fact that I was going to, this business was going to take off. And I just needed a couple of months. That's what I kept saying. I just needed a couple of months. And long story short, I had to get a job again. Many great things happened in between that time, though. Like, I actually started the business. Like I, built a website, and I changed, and I, got I don't know what that was. My throat was getting scratchy. I mean, it wasn't clear. Anyways, I built a website for the first time on my own. I launched it. I created a social media that was tied to my business. It was for my business. I even grew a following on there. And it was my first time growing a following based on something that I have been like wanting to do, that I realized I wanted to do. It was really weird to like be out about spirituality or spiritual wellness. I hate to say spirituality because it's like, but it's like spiritual wellness and talking about astrology and all of my new interests. It was weird to like talk about it in the way, because I was so used to, when I was on Just Creations and I was just kind of tapping into that, I was so used to kind of like, I don't want to say censoring myself, but I wasn't being like fully like open about it. I guess I was being like, I wasn't like speaking the language. I wasn't going full force, with it. So I would like drop it. I was subtle with it, and I was very conscious of how I would present it and talk about it, because I knew that, I learned that it was controversial-ish. Anyways, I mean, not even controversial, but it was a thing that not everybody was open-minded to. So anyways, when I started that channel and I started to gain followers who were just like me, it was so eye-opening, and like it was so reassuring to know like there were other people like me. And then I got connected with this girl who literally, like, I swear till this day, she would always have a special place in my heart, because she believed in me. Like she was one of the first people who joined my my virtual women's group or women's circle. And I think it was her and it was one other girl that I got connected with, and there were like two people. The first virtual women's circle I had, there was two people there. It was her and another girl. And also, how do I even describe it? The other girl was from a group that I ended up getting in contact with called the Magician's Table. And it's pretty much a space for people who have certain gifts, or certain people who have these like gifts or callings to use different modalities or different things to help people. For example, astrologers. We use astrology as a tool to help us, for us to help others, to help others with like know stuff about their life, and reassure them and be confirmation to them that, they aren't crazy and what they're feeling is true, and to follow their, and it just, I think it's a lot of confirmation, but also understanding your life too. It's a tool to understand your life and why things happen, why you're experiencing this, and what can you learn from it, or what do you need to do, blah, blah, blah. For another thing is like energy healers and tarot readers and a bunch of all the other stuff. So I got connected with the group. Like I can't even go into that story because that's another story, but I found them and I ended up having to like pay, and I invested, and it was a group of people. It was like, I forget how many people it was, like 13 or something like that. People who had different things. So there was like, I was going into it as a person who was into astrology and someone who was also developing their intuition and was using cards and knew that I was, I had a sort of like gift to like use these tools to help others. But I didn't know what to do with it because it was new. And yeah, but then there was other people with different sort of gifts. And we all learned, and our goal was we would practice on each other for, I forget how long. It was like 3 months. We had to schedule a session with each other. We had to create our own session of like, create like for example, if we were to offer our gifts, our services as a session for somebody, what would that look like? And then we had to that's how I ended up starting my own website, because we had to build our website or build a place for people to be able to go on there, and book a session. And then our homework was we would get assigned with the new person, each other every week. We would get paired together with different people every week, and we would have to practice and act like they were a client, or a person we were helping. And that literally changed my whole, that literally changed the game for me. Because it forced me to take action. And I was so scared, but that's when I started to believe in myself, because practice makes perfect. And for so long I have been using astrology for myself and using tarot and oracle cards for myself, and trying to develop my intuition for myself. But I knew for all my life, I know I'm the type of person that want to help people. That's literally always been my thing. And I've just, through my life, I've learned I'm the kind of person that is going to want to help people in different ways. And throughout my life, those cycles are going to change. Change is a huge thing for me. I actually like change, but I like it, but it's still very uncomfortable going through it. And also sometimes when it comes to me changing, I can be set on so for example, I know that I need to change, so I'll create a whole nother plan for myself. And then I'll divert to that plan. But then when that plan doesn't go according to how I expected it to, then that's where the challenge comes from me. Because when you're open to change, you have to be open to your plan not working out the way that you planned it to. Even the plan that you changed. You know what I mean? Change is being open and being flexible and to whatever direction, even if so you're driving a car and then the GPS tells you, actually take a left on this road, or to take a left on this street, even though you're no, but I'm supposed to be going this way. And then all of a sudden you're going to tell me I need to go this way. That doesn't make sense, but it's important for you to go that other way. I hope you're understanding this. Because if you were to continue down that road because that's what you plan to do, even though the signs were big and telling you, hey, actually, no, go this way instead. I'm taking you on a shortcut that's actually going to benefit you in the long run. But most people, including myself, would just be so set on, no, I said I was going this way, so I need to go this way because this was a part of the plan. And then you miss your opportunity. You missed whatever that was that actually changed, that caused you to open up and change and go a different route. That was, in my opinion, like I said, I believe in God. So I look at that as a sign from God. God is saying, God, if you're trusting God or a higher power or whatever you believe in to direct you, to steer you on the right path, you also have to be open to change. You need to be open to, if God or the high, I'm going to use God, but you can fill that in with whatever works for you. Also, I am going to be talking about God a lot. I am very much it's interesting because I used to be one of those people who was uncomfortable with, when I was in a conversations with people and uncomfortable with them talking about God a lot because I was just never a super religious person. I grew up Christian and I wasn't anti, but I don't know. I grew up Christian because that's what everybody in my family, that's what I was used to. But I never really liked going to church. I didn't really do anything. I was just Christian. I just had that label, but I didn't really do anything with it. I would pray before I ate and stuff, But that was just stuff. It didn't mean anything, to be honest. It was just like, oh, I should do this. This is what I'm used to doing. I learned as a child we should pray before we eat. So it was just words. I remember praying, but it didn't feel, there was no feeling behind it. It was just like a word. It was just like, this is what I was trained to do. And so when it came to like, yeah, like talking to people who are like super religious at the time and they were talking about God a lot, it was uncomfortable for me to hear that because I didn't really, I don't know. I guess I didn't really believe, to be honest, because I had no connection with it. Because I didn't learn to like have a connection. I just grew up being told this is what it is and this is what you should do instead of like having the freedom to develop my own connection, which is why I identify more as spiritual than religious, because it comes like my connection comes within, and I feel so now it's just I feel like the presence of God, if that makes sense. I feel the presence of my spirit team, which I like to say a lot because I believe that there's like God, but there's angels, and then there's ancestors and people who like pass in your family and who are here. So I feel like we have like a whole team. My belief though, but that's all that matters. Everybody, you don't need to believe what I believe, as long as, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of like our practices and our journeys being like within, it's ours, it's sacred. So it's supposed to look different to everybody because we're not the same, So, but the general idea is that most people feel that there is a higher power, that is guiding us. And anyways, where am I? I'm venturing off here. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, okay. So I started my channel or my my virtual women's circle, and I was in that group called the Magician's Table, and we taught each other blah. We had to like practice on each other. By the end of it, I was comfortable with giving sessions to people, as in I was comfortable with giving people astrology readings and pulling tarot and oracle cards for them. And so after that, I thought, oh, now I'm really ready to start my business. And then it just didn't, even though I was making progress, it was small progress. And I looked up and it was like a couple months later or a month or something later. And I like was struggling financially because I had invested a lot of money that I was like so sure that I was going to get back in like a month. Like, what the freak? Was I like crazy? But I was very optimistic, which I am a very optimistic person, sometimes to a default, because sometimes it's okay to be optimistic and hopeful, but you also have to be realistic because we also need to make money and we need to survive in this world. And yeah, so I learned the hard way real quick that actually, girl, you're gonna need to get a job. And I remember that, and I remember like talking about it with my boyfriend, and he was very big on like, because he's a very practical person, like way more practical than me. Okay, I can be very, like I said, optimistic, hopeful, dreamy, and really believe, like I truly believe that anybody can do what they want to do in this life. But sometimes I can be overconfident of how quickly something's going to come. And I guess that's where it's unrealistic. So yeah, my boyfriend thought that it would be helpful for me to get a job. And I remember like fighting him on it. And I was like, oh, you don't believe in me? Well, I didn't fight him, but no, we didn't not fight, but it was a lot of like, I had a lot of frustrations internally, and I thought like, he didn't believe in me and da 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 da. When really, like, girl, did I read anything about like starting a business? Like most businesses don't take off until like a year plus or something like that. Like I was just so not smart in the way that I was doing things. I was just very optimistic and like in some dream world. And that's cute and all, but life gonna still continue to life, you know? So I had to get a job, and it was funny because I ended up getting connected to I was thinking, I thought to myself, like, where would I like to work? Where would I feel like happy to work at? Or maybe where can I work that includes the things that I'm interested in? Astrology, like spirituality and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, it feels like I should try to look for another metaphysical store. And I can just do that part-time, you know, and I can just, you know, make money to pay my bills and everything like that, and then work on my business on the side. And so I ended up, like, I remember like searching online, and I searched on Indeed, and which is a place where you look for jobs, and I like looked up metaphysical stores, and none was hiring in my area. And I was like, dang, that was sad. And then though there was one that I had like heard of, but they weren't on the site. They weren't like on the, like, I didn't see them on Indeed, but something made me think of like us one day to call them. So I was like, you know what, let me just call and see, you know, and ask if they're hiring, even though I didn't see them on the site or anything. And then I called, and I was like, hello, I was just calling to see if you guys were hiring, and come to find out they were. So the manager was the one, the owner of the store was the one who picked up, and she was like, yeah, funny enough, I'm actually looking through applications right now. And I was like, oh wow, okay, well, how can I apply? And she was like, actually, you can come up to the store now. Are you available? And I was available. Well, I was driving. I wasn't on my way there, but I was like, yeah, I'll make it happen, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, it's just so funny, all the connections I'm thinking about. But so anyways, long story short, I go there, I fill out the application, and within a week I'm hired. And I was just like, whoa, that happened really fast. And yeah, and then also fast forward to now, and I started working there as a part-time person, but then she found out about my social media, the owner, and then I ended up taking over the social media and helping. But I also, there's another social media person there, but she is younger than me, and she's kind of, you know, so anyways, it doesn't matter about the whole, but like I'm like the social media manager, so I like manage her, but I also like do the advertising and marketing and blah, blah, blah. And but whatever. So that's what I'm doing now there. But then I'm also a practitioner there. So I host my women's circles there now in person. So that was another thing. So there was a bunch of opportunities that started opening up for me there. I ended up, like I said, got an opportunity to host my women's circles in person. I got an opportunity to do astrology readings in person. I got an opportunity to work these things called psychic fairs, where I like do, you know, 20 minutes. Like there's been a lot of things that happen. So the point of this whole story is, if I was so rigid and stubborn and set in my ways, well, first of all, I'll be broke, but also I would have missed out on all these opportunities. And like that has literally been exactly the thing that I asked for earlier this year. All I asked for was to be connected with like-minded women and to be able to host women's circles and give astrology readings and do all these things. And I ended up doing it, but I didn't do it in the way that I thought I was going to do it. I thought it was going to be for my business, that I was literally crazy enough to think that I was going to take off in a month. And I was going to make enough money to pay everything, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. I was literally living in a fantasy world. But anyways, but yeah, like if I was being stubborn and didn't get a job, and it was just crazy. So the point is, you need to be open to change. Okay. If you want, like, don't be so stubborn and rigid and set in your own ways that you miss out on great opportunities. Be okay with your plans changing and you changing into a new direction, or like you divert off of that path because there was a lot of signs that told you, hey, go this way instead, or try this route, do something different. We're changing, because God, that's God, higher power, whatever you want to say, redirecting you to it, it's or just directing you to where you need to be. We don't know what that looks like, but we have to trust. And that was a big thing that happened to me, that I learned, that I had this healing session. I got this healing session, and the lady told me that I needed to, she said, my key word is self-trust. I need to trust myself, okay? And stop second guessing everything. And so with me trusting myself, that also means that I trust where God takes me, So yeah, that is the theme of this, what I wanted to tell you guys. Anybody who's being really set in your ways and rigid, once again, you can do that if you don't want to grow. If you want to miss out on opportunities, then just continue to do what you're doing and stay in your way. And and that's fine if you're happy. But if you're a person who wants to grow and change, you want to be better, you want to get to a better place, you want to get to your goals, you want to get to your dream life, all that stuff, then you have to be open to change, and you have to be flexible. You can't be set in your ways, and you have to be okay with your plans changing. Okay? Trust me. As a person who is so stuck on the plan, I am so I used to be so, and still today sometimes it's hard, because I will plan something, and in my head when I plan it, even when I'm manifesting, or when I'm thinking something and I'm trying to create my reality in my mind, you have your reality set. And then also when I start to plan it out and what are the actions I'm going to take, then I get so stuck on that. I'm like, all right, so this is going to be my new plan. This is how I'm going to get to my goals and blah, blah. Sorry about that. I didn't even realize it was that dark. But anyways, so yeah, so now things are changing again for me, because I expected to, like I said, work this job, but while also growing my business. And then deciding that I was going to just grow my business social media, the social media that I had grown, and just to go full force on that and be consistent with that, until it turns into what it it's going to turn into. And then somehow I ended up back here. And I'm like, okay, God, why did I get that call, that internal feel to come back here? Why did I always continue to keep Just Creations? Why was that whisper of Just Creations in the back of my head? Because it was like that for a lot of this year, but I just was like, ugh, it was like a fly, an annoying fly, where I'm like, no, I'm past that. I just, and maybe also I thought that I was a sellout if I went back, I was like, no, I felt like that was the thing that I actually needed to move away from. And I don't know, who knows, but somehow I'm back here. So now I'm open to wherever I'm meant to do here. And I don't know, this may turn out to be, this could go in so many ways. I may have been led back here for a reason. And this is it. So the point is, you have being open to change, and going a different route, and trust that it will lead you to where you need to be, because it will. You will not understand it. It will be also very scary. I mean, that's another thing with being open to change. You have to be trusting of the unknown. And I mean that on so many levels. I mean, not just individually, but also collectively. Our world is going through a shift. Our country is going through a shift. And I know so many of us have questions. But the one thing that keeps me grounded and keeps me faithful is my trust in God. I know that sounds so, oh my gosh, like as I'm talking about saying this out loud, I'm like cringing internally because I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be that person that like talked about God in like every other freaking sentence. And it's truly, I mean, that's not naturally how, I mean, I don't know. Now I understand. Like when you're just connected, it just is like I don't even know, like, so yeah, but I still catch myself doing it and it still cringes because I used to be the person on the other side who didn't believe, and it was annoying. Like it wasn't even annoying, but it was like why does this person always talk about God? That's how I used to feel, but I don't look at it. It's just so different. I don't know how to describe it. Like, anyways, when you just feel internally connected, and once again connected to myself, therefore me through being connected to myself, I feel like I'm connected to this higher power, this divine. Anyways, yeah. So, and it's not just my own beliefs. It's literally like my life experience that proved to me that like it's true. I may not have the right word. The word that I'm calling this higher power may not be accurate. Who the F knows anyways? Like we don't know. We won't know until it's our time to go. Everybody can put a name to whatever higher power it is, but that doesn't really like matter. I think what matters is the connection and how we use it. Are we going to understand that there's a higher power, an unknown force that is spirit team, perhaps, that is there to help us, and all we have to do is ask. All we have to do is say out loud, whether we use the word God, please, God, guide me to where I need to be. God, help me to see what I'm not seeing. God, show me a sign that I am meant to continue on this path, or show me a sign that what do I need to change? What do I need to do? Like, like literally talking out loud and knowing that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. That was the biggest thing I've learned throughout my whole spiritual journey path is like a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Like nobody can like you have to speak, you have to talk out loud, because when you talk out loud, you're putting it out. Like once again, your answers, your prayers, whatever you say is being heard and then will be received. And that was the biggest thing, because I thought like, oh, if I just thought it, okay, but no. So anyways, I'm over here. I'm going way out. I'm going off the topic. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about mainly. It's just the change. And like I said, even now, oh my gosh. So yesterday, I got this urge again, that urge. And when you get an urge to do something that feels good, but it also, you feel like, oh, I want to do this, but then you start overthinking it, or it seems like it takes a lot of work, or it causes you to change out of a comfortable position. Then that can, for example, for me, I got an urge to film a creative, like, get ready with me video, like kind of how I used to do when I would act out songs. If you follow me on my Instagram, I would do this thing where I would like show the process of me getting ready and getting cute as I was like singing a song, like pretending like I was in a music video or something like that. I used to do it with a bunch of Doja Cat songs. And if I were to look back at my, like the content that I've made in my life, those would be like one of my favorite contents that I've made, or videos I've made, because that is so my personality. Like I'm always acting like I'm in a music video. Like I'm always fantasizing that I'm in a music video, or I'm in, like, that's just how I am. So it was the most authentic and fun, but it also took a lot of time because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to just certain things, and I have to retake, or I do, and blah, blah, blah. But then I was also like taking it so seriously, because a part of me that wants to be like different always has to try to think of like the most complex things when I could just really turn on the camera and just have fun. So anyways, I got the urge to do that yesterday, and the song that came to my mind was Push to Start by Tyla. And I was like, I was in the kitchen and making my breakfast, and that song was playing in my head, and I was like, I felt like you need to do a video. Just have fun. Just show yourself getting ready. I already had to do my hair, and like I was due for a wash, and so I was just kind of like, am I really about to do this? And I just did it, and I was just had fun. I started turning on the camera, and I just like played at, like, I did my whole creative process like I do when I'm about to film something like that. And I did it. But it took quite literally the whole day, because I did it. And then the thing about me is, when I get an idea and inspired to do something, like if I have to act on it quickly, because if I don't, then I would like lose, like passion for it. Like it'll just drift away. And then also sometimes, like, I've realized that I'm lazy when it comes to like getting ready, getting dressed, getting cute. Like, I like to do it, but I like the outcome, but I hate the process. I don't like, that's another thing why I couldn't be a committed beauty guru, or maybe I could, but I'm just a lazy one, because I don't like the process of getting dressed. I don't like that. So then I have to turn on the freaking camera. Like, I don't know how I did it back then. I was just on a different wave, a different energy back then. But nowadays, I'm so lazy with it. Maybe because I don't go out as often, even though I'm starting to go out a little bit. But I don't know. It's just different. So, or maybe, I don't know, we change. Our energies change. The things that we prioritize change over time as we get older and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not a person that, and even when I do like to look cute, I don't have the urge to like film it or take pictures to show it on social media. Like, I don't like, the funniest thing about me that people will be surprised to know is I don't really like attention. Like, I actually don't like attention, but I feel like I have to share my creative, like I have to share my creations and share. I feel the drive to want to like get my creative ideas out there, and also in hopes of it inspiring someone else. But also, I don't really crave attention, but I do want respect. Like, I do like the credentials of knowing that, hey, I did this and that started something new, or that was something different that nobody saw, or that made somebody think a different way, and that helps a bunch of other people. And like, I like that. I realize I do want to be respected and credited to things that I like innovate, or new things that I do, even though I know, I don't really like internally. I like that. Although I would never be out there and be like, hey, look what I did. Ah, ha, ha. Like, hey, look at me. That is not my personality at all. Like, so even if I don't get the credit that I feel internally like I deserve, I would never outwardly like say anything, because that's just not my, it's satisfying to me enough to know, and whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't, like, turning on the camera and showing a cute outfit doesn't come naturally to me, and modeling it doesn't come natural unless it's for a reason. And it just, I don't know. So I don't know how to describe it, but I do like, it's fun for me though. It is fun. And then also, when I think about it, I want to post more videos like that, because I like the videos or channels of people, of women, of girls, like showing their style. Like, I love those outfit channels, and I love girls showing their style. That's what I gravitate towards. And I like those girls, and like, want to be friends with them and stuff. And I've realized that, like, I want to show my style because I want to use my social media as a place for me to connect with people. And then also, yeah, to help, maybe like to help people, but also to help perhaps in the future promote my business services, whatever, women's circles, blah, blah, blah. Like, So, but mainly, like I said, I do want to connect. Like I think that is the biggest thing. So if I want people to come on my page and be able to see that I am a creative person, that I do like fashion. And so I have to put the effort to do that, even though internally that's not like, it's hard for me to do it because I don't really care to do it. I don't know how to describe it. Does that make sense? So it doesn't come natural for me. So for example, when I talk about like comfort zone, staying in your comfort zone, my comfort zone will be to just never put myself out on on social media. That will be comfortable for me because, well, actually, I will. Okay, fine. Okay, I would like to talk. I definitely can talk, but like when it comes to like putting the effort in and getting ready, like literally today, or even when it comes to like me, like when I do go out, like when I do actually decide to look cute and put effort into my outfit and myself, it's comfortable for me to just put on clothes, walk out the door, enjoy my day. It's not comfortable for me to turn on the camera and show and prop it up and then show my outfit or show me getting ready. That is out of my comfort zone. But in order for me to, like I said, be able to express myself on my social media, which will hopefully connect me to other like-minded women who like to, who like to do the same thing or who are other creative people. Also, my dream is still to be like connected or collaborate with fashion brands or like other like wellness, fashion, all that. Like I still have this idea in my head, this dream that I want to collaborate with free people at some point. So if I consider these things, it's like, well, in order for me to be known for my style and that part of me, which lives within me, I am a creative person. I have to get out of my comfort zone and not feeling the urge or not feeling like just being lazy. I don't feel like turning on the camera and documenting or showing my outfit. I just want to go about my day. I'm not going to be able to get to the things that I actually want to do if I don't push past that and just be like, what the freak? Okay, I'm just going to have to get out of it, turn on the camera and getting used to the habit of doing that. Does that make sense? I hope all of this is making sense. So overall, those are just several examples of the importance of being open to change, being flexible, getting out of your comfort zone. Comfort, we don't do that here, okay? I'm just kidding. I mean, being cozy and comfortable and you're like, when it comes to self-care is great. But when it comes to like self-growth, not great, okay? Not great. So why am I talking about this? Well, now I'm going to end off the video with going all astrology girl on you guys because that's truly what I mean, that is who I am. Oh, hold on. Oof. Today is a full moon in the sign of Taurus, okay? So, briefly, let me tell you about the full moon. The full moon, well, first of all, let me tell you about the moon in general. If you guys don't know, because I'm sure everybody's heard of full moon, but in astrology, the moon represents our feelings and our emotions. It has to do with what we need. The moon represents what we need to feel emotionally and physically taken care of, safe, secured, nurtured. It's like a form of self-care, but it's also how we express our emotions. So the astrology sign that is ruling the moon. So when we say that the moon is in Taurus, that means that the sign is going to color the vibe of how we feel. So whatever the traits are of Taurus, we are going to be feeling that collectively in different parts of our lives in different ways, but we're going to be feeling those emotions. We also are going to need to incorporate some of those themes of Taurus to take care of ourselves, to feel like nurtured and cared for in that moment. The moon is usually in a sign for 2 to 3 days, sometimes longer if it's like an eclipse or a full moon or blah, blah, blah. But that's extra stuff, not important. But let's just say the moon is usually in a sign for 2 to 3 days. So we're going to be feeling the moon. So now it's in Taurus. And also, lastly, when the moon is full, when it's a full moon, that means that our feelings are going to be like more heightened, because it's the full moon is a completion period. It's a completion period, meaning that's where, like, when people say the full moon is about letting go, releasing, usually our emotions become heightened during the full moon. And it's so heightened to the point to where there needs to be a release of some sort. And that's going to be in different ways. It could be through crying. It could be through like talking. It could be through like movement. But something around the full moon, whether you realize it or not, you're going to have some sort of like release in a certain way of these like emotions that has been like building up over a 6-month period. Okay. Let me just say lastly, I don't know if you're understanding all of this. There's a new moon and then there's a full moon. Okay. I'm sure we have all heard of these terminologies. But new moons are the start. New moons. Okay. New moons are the start of a 6-month-long cycle. Full moons are the end of that 6-month-long cycle. New moons is where you start something new. Full moons is when you review what you've done, review your progress of that new thing that you started, and also a time for you to let go of what didn't work. So you're celebrating your progress and how far you've come, but you're also realizing, okay, this didn't work, so I'm going to let this go. So I can make space for something new to happen again, or something new I need to add, or whatever, okay? But also, lastly, so 6 months ago from now, which was May 7th, which is why I talked about that story, See, I'm look what you see what I did there. Which was May 7th. That's when there was a new moon in the sign of Taurus. Okay. So then we think about what do I want to go there? Yeah. Let me just stop. Okay. So yeah, I'm trying to explain this in a way. It's hard. I'm like being conscious of how I relay this, because I want to put it in a way that everybody can understand. And I'm trying to refrain from using a lot of astrology terminologies that no one would understand. So bear with me as I'm trying to put this in a general way that people can understand. But yeah, so the new moon, so 6 months ago, May 7th, 2024, there was a new moon in the sign of Taurus. 6 months later, we're here today, and it is the full moon in the sign of Taurus. So whatever you started, so think back 6 months ago, or for me, I don't really remember these things. That's why it's important to journal, because I literally looked up, went in my journal and looked up what started for me around that time. Even I go on my Google, I go on my photos and look back on May 7th and look around that time and see what happened. So something, whether you realized it or not, something new started around May 7th in your life. Most likely not. For some people, it's going to be an obvious big thing. And for some other people, it's going to be a small thing that you probably would have missed if you weren't paying attention. But anyways, yeah. So, but either way, there was something new that happened, new habit, a new job, a new thing you started to do, a new relationship, a new friendship, a new something, that you started. And now 6 months later, it's your time to kind of review it and feel like, okay, does that still resonate with me, or do I need to let it go, or do I need to change something, or also like thinking back on your progress and blah blah blah. Now, once again, if you are not into astrology or any of this, you're still going to be affected by it. You just won't have any like conscious, like you're not going to think about it. But as an astrology, the great thing about astrology and spirituality and stuff like that is you're more intentional about these things. So therefore, I feel like you can expedite your process in whatever you're trying to go, because you're always like reflecting on it. You're being intentional about the certain things. So when it comes to like you starting something new and then reflecting back on it 6 months, you're holding yourself accountable. And then you also can, I think, quicken your progress, towards something, because you're being more intentional about it, if that makes sense. So anyways, that is that. Okay. And then lastly, we talk about the sign that it's in. So it's in Taurus. Taurus represents security. Taurus represents comfort. It represents your values. It represents stability. And it's a earth sign, so it has to do with being grounded. So Taurus is a good way to put it. Taurus is slow and steady, doing something consistently, but also taking it slow and steady and consistent progress to get to a goal that will allow you some sort of financial security or comfort. To wrap it up, because I have to hurry up. So yeah, 6 months ago, around May 7th, you may have started something in your life that was meant to either provide you financial security in some way. You may have wanted to start really focusing on the things that you value, and maybe connecting with people that you value, connecting with people who share similar values to you, or really maybe thinking about what you value and trying to prioritize that. You may have started to be like create a ritual or routine or a daily practice for yourself, or whatever that you wanted to incorporate into your daily life, and something that was good for your health or connected with the things that you value to better yourself. So it has to do with something around stability, security, values. But the thing is, and I even forgot this, is that whatever you started, you needed to remember that it was going to take time, and that it was going to be slow and steady progress. And there wasn't a rush, because Taurus energy does not like to be rushed. It likes to take its time, but it's also one of the most reliable signs, because once it sets its mind on something, and once it plants a seed on what it wants, it's going to take the steps every day to get to it. It may be slow steps, and most of the time it's going to be slow, but they're definitely they're going to be consistent with it. Yeah, one of the things that Taurus struggles with is change. Because sometimes a lot of times it can get comfortable in the thing that it set its mind to, that it wanted to manifest. And when they need to actually veer off of that lane, or try something new, or do something different, or even like stop doing the thing altogether because they realize that it is actually not for them, that they can struggle with that. And a lot of times, because Taurus energy can be so focused on comfort and also security. Say you found a job that you like and you're secure in it, but you're unhappy, but you committed to it because that's something that you wanted. You wanted to make more money. But then you realize that it actually, whatever you're making money with, doesn't actually align to your values. But sometimes Taurus energy could stay in it because it provides them security, although they're not happy. So over time, things is just going to keep happening in life that are like signs that, hey, you need to like get out of this and trust that once you decide to change a job or do something different, trust that the security will follow. Don't be so attached to the security that something provides you that you're unwilling to change and actually get aligned to a better opportunity that you can, that will be actually better for you and still provide you that security, but you just don't know and you're uncertain about it, so you decide to stay. So I hope you guys are getting that. So that is the general energy right now that we're dealing with. Okay. So, and lastly, I want to leave you guys off with just some final thoughts and some messages that came up for me that I want to pass on to you guys. And the whole, the message that I want to leave you guys off with is, number one, trust. Number one, if you do believe in a higher power, use this time to really take some time to yourself and within this weekend, because when I put this out, I think it's going to be Friday, the day of the full moon. Usually feel the energy, this energy that I'm talking about over the course of 2 to 3 days. So I would say from Friday through Sunday. I mean, you can do it longer, but I would just say, really take some time to do some self-care with yourself and be kind of away from, take a moment to disconnect from everybody, have some time to yourself, and try to ask out loud any guidance. If you have a question or you need some guidance on something in your life, ask it out loud and say, I know it's going to sound weird because it was weird for me. Still to this day, it's still not as easy. But when you're by yourself, just talk out loud and imagine someone is listening to you. Okay. And just talk out loud like a normal way and just, say I want, please show me guidance on da 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 da, or please let me know what I should do for da 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 da. And then keep your eyes open for the next couple of days for certain signs, which may come through as videos you may be watching. Like this video may have been a sign for you already, and it may have validated something and may inspire you to go and do something. Or maybe a conversation that you have, and then it comes up. These are the signs that, that you will get. So just keep your eye out for that, confirmations or anything. So anyways, that's one thing. Number two is understand that we are in a time where you need to connect with people who share the same values as you. You can't do this life alone. As the world is changing, it's going to be more and more and more important to find your your peoples that you can find comfort in and security and stability in your people. So stop hanging around people who don't share your same values. Stop being in change that. Okay. So just know that community and connections with people, like-minded people, are just really important. Another thing is take your time. I don't know who needs to hear that, but take your time. You are right now, currently, I'm telling you that whatever you've been trying to rush, right now is not the time to rush that. I'm giving you validation that you actually need to take your time on whatever it is that you're doing, and know that there is no rush. Okay. Next thing is, hold on, because I wrote some things down and I forgot already. I said take your time. This is your confirmation to slow down and take your time. There's no rush to make any decisions at this moment. The next thing is, you may be feeling this feeling to break free from some sort of stagnation, which, once again, if you're being resistant to whatever that you need, or maybe you have been resistant, I don't know, you may be feeling that more, because once again, full moons bring up feelings and emotions. And it could be, if you're on the track to doing what you need to do, you may just be feeling good. But if you're not on the track to it, you're going to be feeling that more. Also, this full moon energy is also like expect the unexpected, be flexible. Like your plans may change. It may not, but this energy is kind of like a little bit all over the place. So things are going to be like, plans may not work out the way that you planned it to be, and just be open to change. Be open to new insights. Once again, like if this landed on your video on like your page, it's meant for you to see, especially if you're continuing watching, but just be open to new insights, open to change, and being flexible. The energy may be a little bit all over the place. But yeah, that's just a side note. So another thing is that came up a lot was like missed opportunities and taking action. So one of the things that I got, one of the things that a message was missed opportunities. Maybe some of you have missed some opportunities or haven't taken action to pursue any of your to pursue any opportunities. And that is the biggest thing that came up. So once again, you have to be open to change so you don't miss any opportunities, but you also need to take action. So if something comes up or insight, or if you have a like intuitive call to do something, or if you hear something or whatever, just really know that like taking action is important, but slow and steady action. It doesn't mean you have to do so much, but because you also still need to be going slow and steady. That means taking your time. So you can still take action little bit by day on something without overwhelming yourself, I guess. And then let's see. Yeah, and then also, once again, expect the unexpected. There may be some of that, some of that energy. I don't want to put too much stuff out there, but I think that's a good overall. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with information, but wow, I've been talking for a long time. I hope any of this helped anyone. And I hope that this lands on the pages, on the phones, on the computers, screens for anybody who needs it. That is about it. I hope you guys take some time for yourself, because one of the biggest things through like full moons and new moons is self-care. It is a time for you to take some time to self-care. I'm going to link some things in the description box below. One of the biggest things that you should probably do around this time, because the moon is in Taurus, is grounding yourself. Now, I'm going to link some stuff in the description box. I would have read it now, but it's going to just take a long time. It tells you how do you know when you need to ground yourself, what is grounding yourself, and what are some ways you can ground yourself. I would say really prioritize that within the next 3 days, and just overall in your life. You need to So yeah, the resources in the description box would tell you like how to identify when you are lacking grounding, like how you feel. Like if you feel very scattered mentally, you're lacking grounding. So you need to ground. And once again, grounding could be like doing that. Grounding could be dancing. Grounding could be like cooking, like taking your focus away from mental and focusing on certain things and stuff like that, being present, being grounded. So yeah, I'm going to leave some resources for you guys, but once again, please take some time for yourself, to do some sort of self-care this weekend. And I'm sending you my love. And, I have a women's circle that I'm doing today. So I will be filming that, and, I'll be, showing you guys a little bit of like how that goes. Hopefully. Okay. Have a great time in your life. Sending you my love. Okay, bye.